have a round of applause that's slightly more energized than what you're doing since the morning? Perfect. This helps me get over a lot of nervousness. So here I begin. In the recent past, there are two pieces of news that really stuck by me. And I hope they stuck by all of you as well. The first was India launching and safely landing, what? Chandrayaan-3. And it sort of became this national event, you know, all of us are glued to the screens, watching on tenterhooks, what will happen, what will not happen. And when finally India succeeded, all of us rejoiced. All of us clapped. All of us put fistfuls into the air, right? But you know what I was thinking? What I was thinking was how many months, potentially years of hard work and research and scientific principles and due diligence and so much more would have gone into achieving this one mammoth and momentous feat. When you aim for the moon, you can't just start up in the air. You have to start with your feet solidly planted on the ground. Do you agree? Yes. You know what's the other piece of news that stuck by me? It happened this Thursday. Can anyone guess? Okay, I'll tell you. It was the Shah Rukh Khan starrer Jawan becoming the highest grossing day one film in the entire history of Indian cinema. And do you know which film did it beat? It beat Pathaan. Very well done. Can we have a round of applause for the person who said this? And again, I was wondering, I'm a huge Shah Rukh Khan fan. I'm very sorry for it, but who in India is not? And I was wondering that what made this kind of a glory also possible? Is it just Shah Rukh's charisma? Which of course it is, because his story goes back to sheer hard work, sheer talent, and a lot of confidence on his own story, his own roots, his wit, his wisdom, his talent, and over the years, the kind of abundant love that he has won from audiences all across, not just India, but in the world. But it also made me think the way cinema is functioning right now, no matter whether you're a Shah Rukh Khan or a Rajnikant, till the time there is not a great story at your core and an even greater execution to bring that story to the masses, which I don't know requires how many hours of diligence, how many hours of hard work, how many people, we can never really know, right? Till then, nothing really becomes a success. So what am I trying to really say by taking these two pieces of seemingly diametrically opposite beats of news is that whether you're aiming for the moon or if you're gunning for glory, it really matters where your roots are. It really matters what a foundation of solid principles, values, knowledge, wisdom are you standing on. And this is a very well-established fact that the more solid the foundation on which you stand, the higher you can jump. So why am I talking about this banality? I'm talking about this banality because over the past 3 years, I've had a lot of realizations about this entire concept of roots, understanding roots, and going back to roots. And I will begin with a small story, the context to which Amrita ma'am has actually already set. I come from a time when you really had to put 1 rupee in the class piggy bank if you dared to speak in Hindi, even in your off hours. I am not kidding. And I was a brilliant student end to end. I was very good in academics. I could dance, I could sing, I could debate, I could figure out what are the other things. I could do sports at one time as well. Everything, right? But my crowning glory was that I was fantastic at speaking unfalteringly in English. I was fantastic. I was this very nice anglicized version of what a perfectly capable for success person should look like. I wouldn't wear saris like this. I still can't. Someone help me today, but I'm learning. And then happened this one thing, okay, this one thing which changed my life. And this is an incident that I'll share with you. It was in the year 2013-14 that I got to meet my inspiration, who is now my mentor also, in person. And this person's name, like you heard about me, I delve into the field of poetry. I may not be a great poet myself, but I have learned a lot about the history and mythology of poetry in our country. I happened to meet Professor Ashok Chakradhar, जो कि भारत के सबसे बड़े, सबसे जाने माने कवियों में से हैं. In the year 2017, we were doing an event in Bhopal, okay? And sir was on the stage the way I'm on the stage. And I was given the responsibility of introducing who Professor Ashok Chakradhar is to the audience. And he's a Hindi poet. and I don't understand Hindi. Because what had happened with me after many, many years of putting that one coin in the piggy bank was, I started thinking in English. I couldn't think in Hindi. So, sometimes how it happens when we have to communicate something in English, we make the sentence structure in Hindi, and then we translate. I was doing the reverse of that, always. If I had to speak in Hindi, I was thinking in English. Okay? So now we'll go back to the context. Professor Chakradhar is sitting on the stage. He's someone I deeply admire. I'm deeply humbled in front of. He's my teacher. And a teacher I adore and admire no end. And I, like I said, was tasked with introducing him. So I had a paper in my hand with this long bio written in chaste Hindi. As Hindi as I could get. Right? Because पढ़ के तो बोल सकते हैं. उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. And somewhere, while reading that paper and explaining to everyone what a great persona is going to talk to you now, I realized I'm a very good public speaker. Why do I need a paper? There were 600 to 800 people in the audience, and this is Bhopal. And it's a city which loves its Hindi and it loves its poetry. Okay. So I left the paper, I folded it, and I kept it aside on the podium. But now I'm thinking in English. So everything I have to speak to the audience has to be translated to Hindi. And there came a point where I had to speak out. I'm telling you in English and we will translate it, okay? I had to speak out that the pride of my own language was taught to me by Professor Ashok Chakradhar in a very gentle manner. मैंने सब हिंदी में translate कर लिया, मुझे gentle की हिंदी समझ में नहीं आई. And I froze so much on the stage कि मैं gentle का gently नहीं कर पाई. मुझे manner की हिंदी समझ में आ गई, तरीका. So something I spoke that sir ने हमें अपना भाषा गौरव बहुत ही gentle तरीके से समझाया. Or I came back and I sat somewhere where sir is sitting. Because he's my teacher on the stage, so I have to watch from the front row. And like all teachers are, he's just looking at me. He's sitting on the stage, he's waiting for his turn to come. And he's looking at me with this nice smile. That I know what has happened, but you don't know what's going to happen with you. The way teachers sometimes leave you with life lessons. I'm a teacher myself. I love teachers. And here is what happened after that. It's significant. It's beautiful. It literally changed my life. Sir addressed the audience. He said, before I answer the wonderful question that the moderator has fielded towards me, this beautiful young girl who introduced me, I'm speaking in English because abhi bhi mujhe translate kabhi karna padta hai. So मैं कच्चा पक्का आपको बता रही हूँ. This girl whose name is Saumya, imagine what word she got stuck at. That word was gentle. And then sir looked at everyone and he said, now you, अब आप ये सब सोचिए कि इस लड़की का नाम क्या है? My name means gentle. I may not be gentle, but my name certainly means gentle. तो सर ने बोला कि कितना सुंदर होता कि अगर ये बच्ची ये बोल देती कि सर ने बहुत सौम्यता से समझाया. सर मैं हो गए. And this is a poet talking, and I still watch this video. It is a verified video, which is there on YouTube, okay? You must check it out. And I wondered that if I can't associate the meaning of my name, knowledge flows inside out. You learn about yourself. You learn about your family and your core group of people. You learn about your community. You learn about your state. You learn about your nation. You learn about the world. And then you learn about this giant cosmic cycle, जिसके बीच में एकदम सूक्ष्म तरह से आप fit करे गए हैं. You're the minutest part of probably this giant cosmic cycle. But till the time you don't learn this, how can you potentially move out? I had no idea. I knew the meaning of my name, but I had no instrument, no tool, no enablement to sort of access its meaning and make patterns out of it and really deeply be knowledgeable about my name. I just knew a data point. I just knew a fact. Then that's not true knowledge, right? So thus began my journey of actually reconnecting with myself, and my vehicle became language. And language is an important vehicle, and I will come to it somewhere towards the end of my talk today. So what happened after that is, of course, this inward journey started, and I wanted to get deeper within myself. I wanted to walk back towards myself and figure out, who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I belong? What do I stand for? Where is my future leading me? And one of my first realizations was that even if I had left my roots, they had not abandoned me. There was a sense, the moment I wanted to access them, they were all around me. You know, like this big banyan tree, which has been growing since several centuries, several aeons. It was all around me. I just needed to access it. So I remember doing distinctly 3 things. This is very dramatic. I left my job. You know, in every dramatic story, this is what happens. You leave your well-paying major corporate job. And I left it because, not for any other reason, but I just felt we were functioning with superficiality in terms of dressing up fancily in pants and giving presentations that were not really going anywhere. And my heart was into poetry. You know, my heart was into poetry of my land, songs of my culture, food of my family, and values of systems of myself. Value systems we all make for ourselves. So I left this job and I picked up a bunch of other things wherein I had to start at the ground level again everywhere. I had to infuse vigor in myself. I had to learn again and again and again. And today, I'm very happy to share with you that about 7-8 years later, I'm successful with almost everything I picked up, but because I really dived deep into all of it. The number 2 thing I did, which is again dramatic, is I left my home. I left a very comfortable, luxurious Delhi life to move into a very, very small village in Himachal Pradesh, in the mountains. And I built a mud house there, but I know what was the larger purpose I was seeking. I was seeking to understand the wisdom of simple and meaningful living. It is a village with no amenities, and often my city people call me up and ask me, कि वहाँ तुम्हें सब कुछ मिल जाता है? I'm like, मेरे को बहुत अच्छी हवा और बहुत अच्छा पानी मिलता है. आपको क्या क्या मिलता है जहाँ आप रहते हैं? So to understand the wisdom of very simple, very meaningful life, I had to be there. To understand simple food, to understand that health can be worked on if you are at it every day. And I think most importantly, I needed to reach this village to learn how to cook and clean. Because for 30 years of my life, I couldn't cook, which is fine, but I couldn't clean. And today I'm mortified sharing with you that I don't like it when anyone else cleans after me. But 30 years of my life, someone else has cleaned everything after I've made a mess of it. And that's not nice. And the third thing that I did on this path to rediscovering my roots is that I found what my core principles, what my motivations, what my drivers in life are. And they are 3. It's knowledge, it's joy, and it's love. Knowledge because I seek to learn as much as I can every day. Joy because I seek to be very happy and share a lot of joy with as many people as I can every day. And love, because I do want to function with an abundance of love towards as many beings, animate and inanimate, as I potentially can every day. And as a combination of all of this, what happened with me was I was liberated. I was set free. And as ironical as it is, my roots set me free. So what I'm going to do is, this was a little bit of a glimpse into my journey. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave you with 5 factors in case you ever want to start off on this journey. And for this, I may need to refer to my paper. That what are those things that enable a discovery of belonging, of roots, of foundations, of where you come from? Number 1, your roots are embedded in your shared knowledge system, which is based upon your collective history, memory, and your stories. Learn where you come from and learn about the entire world. Be fascinated with everything happening in the world. But where is your reference system? Where are you standing? What's your vantage point? Where are you looking at the world from? Even if you seek to become a truly global citizen, which you all must, and I know how necessary it is, figure out where you stand. Having a solid ground beneath your feet helps in more manners that you can understand. Number 2, your roots are embedded in your shared cultural system, which comes from songs, poems, mythology, which comes from food, which comes from dress up, which comes from attire, and which comes from language. And knowing about all of this is so important because in English or in any kind of a world language, there are so many things you can't communicate. I mean, imagine communicating a sari in English. How will you really communicate what a sari or a dupatta or a dastarkhan is? It is not possible. And sometimes when we don't have these words, we can't access our own language and our own cultural system. Number 3, your roots are also embedded in what become your individual passions. Because that is a field you will pursue the history and the breadth and the depths of, even without anyone motivating you. So whether it's astronomy or it's poetry, if you are truly, deeply curious about something, understand where it comes from, and that will give you a grounding of launching as high as possible. And actually, I picked poetry, but I had the confidence of walking up in front of my parents and saying, you know what, I want to do poetry all my life. And I will tell you how to make money out of it. I do not buy the fact that poets can't make money. I will figure it out. But because I was confident, because I had research, because I had curiosity, and because I had joy. Number 4, your roots are embedded in the individual values that you find for yourself. And please mark my words, it's individual value. Because a lot of times, the kind of value systems we come from are not all great. And it is our critical thinking, it is our empathy that makes us understand, okay, good for the world, bad for the world. And thus you develop your own kind of a value system, which you need to pursue and take till the end, because you're also Finding roots is not regression. Finding roots is also finding the path to progression, and which brings me to the final point, to the last point, which is your roots do not actually lie in the past tense. They are very evolving. And they sort of give you this melting pot and this meeting time between the past, the present, and the future. The more solid is the ground that you're standing on, the higher, the more limitless will your shoots blossom and grow. So, dear friends, I genuinely believe that roots set us all free. And on that note, without taking any more of your time, I will take your leave. I hope you find your roots and the fact that they set you all free as well. Thank you so much.